well, I don't know if you know this or not by now. And I saw that post from Angel Reese, or what I thought was Angel Reese, or whatever I got told was Angel Reese, about the white girl didn't want any of the fade or something like that. I thought it had to be a mistake. Somebody asked me about it, and I said, no, surely to God she would not have even Angel Reese surely realizes not to repost something like that, right?
So apparently, it's perfectly fine to instigate attacks against your biggest so-called rival. But when people start calling you out on it, you cry victim. Because that's the life of Angel Reese these days. When Angel Reese hit share on a video, mocking Caitlin Clark for doing the mature thing and walking away from drama, she didn't just stir the pot, she shoved the whole thing off the stove. And the league? Crickets. Not a word. Not a whisper. Just vibes and hypocrisy. Welcome to the modern WNBA, where fouls get reviewed but targeted shade gets a free pass, especially if it's aimed at the one player actually keeping the league relevant.
Hell, I guess I was wrong. I guess she did. And so now that I'm really starting to look into this, I'm like, God, not only is this real, but you've got media members that actually do try to hold the WNBA to some kind of responsibility. They're talking about there's no room for hate, this and that and the other one. And you got a player that's blatantly advocating for violence against far and away your most popular player. All right, and bringing race into the situation.
We're stepping into what might be the most revealing controversy in WNBA history. And no, this isn't just about basketball. It's about credibility, culture, and a league that loves to pat itself on the back for values it can't seem to uphold. We're talking about integrity in crisis. Or rather, selective integrity. Because when rules apply to everyone except one team, one player, that's not leadership. That's performative theater. And at the heart of this mess? Two names you know well, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. One playing the beautiful game, the other stirring chaos. And behind them, a WNBA trying to pretend it's not unraveling in real time. If you support Caitlin, comment, I stand with CC down below to show your support. Let's go.
But this was put out right here. Again, hell, I thought it was fake originally. And I guess it's not. I mean, it's crazy. White girl running from the fade. There's Angel Reese right there. There's, of course, Caitlin Clark doing the responsible thing, not wanting to tank her public relations. Like Angel Reese walking away after the take foul the other night, or the other day against the Chicago Sky.
So how did we get here? It started like all good modern-day controversies do, with a TikTok. A clip from a Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game that got sliced up, captioned "White Girl Running from the Fade," and posted for the world to interpret. The moment? Caitlin Clark commits a hard but legal foul on Angel Reese. Nothing dirty, nothing malicious, just physical basketball. What did Clark do next? The mature thing. She walked away. She didn't posture, she didn't taunt, she didn't turn it into a spectacle. She diffused it.
And I was like, again, somebody sent that to me and I said, it's got to be fake. And I was like, nope, here's a video on TikTok right here. And that picture is in this video. And it was reposted by Angel Reese. And let me see if I have the ability there. I'm going to just turn that down because I don't want a copyright strike. But right there, there's the picture. And Angel Reese did, in fact, repost this on TikTok, it looks like, and share it.
But in the age of viral attention grabs, restraint is weakness, and walking away gets rewritten as fear. That post twisted the narrative into one of cowardice, painting Clark as someone too scared to throw hands. Because apparently, in today's WNBA, you're only respected if you treat the court like a UFC octagon. And instead of pushing back, instead of clarifying the moment, Angel Reese, million-follower influencer, self-proclaimed face of the league, professional victim, shared it. No context, no explanation. Just a full endorsement of a racially charged meme, dragging another player for showing composure.
And I'm like, Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? And the WNBA is going after and lecturing Indiana Fever fans in this investigation? Are you trying to tell me Angel Reese is not going to get suspended for this, not going to get fined for this? Or is the WNBA too gutless to stand up against things like this, even if it is against a white woman?
Let that sink in. Because here's where the temperature shifts. Clark isn't just any sophomore. She's the biggest reason people are watching the WNBA at all right now. She's single-handedly responsible for record-breaking viewership, jersey sales through the roof, sold-out arenas in cities that previously couldn't sell popcorn. She's the Steph Curry of the women's game, and she's only just begun. So when a meme like this spreads, and Angel Reese, with all her influence, chooses to amplify it, it's not just some harmless joke. It's a statement, and it's dangerous.
Right here, Angel Reese cries about racism that never happened, then goes on and reposts openly racist TikToks. This is why the WNBA is a joke and not only allows but encourages racism against white people. Well, it takes a step further here, because my boy over at Outkick, Bobby Burack, who's a hell of a good journalist, did reach out to the WNBA. Right here, I asked the WNBA if they had a comment on Angel Reese's racist post on TikTok about Caitlin Clark. The league had no comment, nor would it address Reese suggesting she wants to fight Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese, too, is a rising star. She made her mark at LSU, owned her confidence, and built a brand on being unapologetically herself. She represents an important shift in athlete empowerment, and for that, she deserves respect. But with power comes responsibility. And with a platform as big as hers, what you co-sign matters. So when she reposts content that racializes conflict and frames leadership as fear, she's not just poking fun, she's fueling a divide. And that's the part people want to pretend isn't happening.
So much for, quote, zero tolerance for hate. You know, the WNBA is running an ad right now about, I think, the physicality of the league. And at some point, we just gotta ask the question: is this what Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA wanted? Is this what they wanted? Is all this drama, all this? I mean, I understand it's good for ratings. Maybe the commissioner's sitting back and she's secretly smiling about this or whatnot, but you're still targeting the fan base that's funding this whole thing in the Indiana Fever.
And what did the WNBA do in response? Absolutely nothing. Not a whisper, not a warning, not even a vague statement about sportsmanship. The same league that wants to be known as the progressive, inclusive, values-driven beacon of equality suddenly lost its voice. They'll launch investigations if fans boo too loud. They'll issue fines if a coach says the refs missed a call. But a viral post mocking a player for her race, her gender dynamics, and her decision to de-escalate, that doesn't even earn a timeout.
All right. They're the ones grabbing the ratings. They're the ones paying up for the tickets, even on the road. And I've got to wonder, are you going to start seeing more empty seats even at Caitlin Clark games? Because I can tell you this, just from what I can gauge, a lot of Fever fans are already sort of fed up. All right, they're already sort of fed up. And you could hear it from the crowd.
Imagine the roles were reversed. Imagine Clark had reposted a video captioned, "Black girl can't handle the smoke." Think about it. You already know what would happen. We'd be in DEFCON 1 on ESPN. Every network would run wall-to-wall coverage. Brands would yank endorsements. The league would issue emergency pressers about inclusivity. And you know what? They'd be right to. Because racism, in any direction, isn't empowerment. It's bigotry.
Crowd said that they I guess Kathy Engelbert came over and lectured the crowd prior to the game the other day. How about at Kathy Engelbert? Does she have any comment? If the at WNBA wants to be taken seriously, we should have transparency on these types of issues.
But when it's flipped, when the target is a white athlete, the silence is deafening. The excuses start pouring in. Context, culture, empowerment, all suddenly weaponized to shield bad behavior. But the truth is simple. Racism is racism. Mocking someone for their race, even wrapped in a meme, even in jest, even as clapback culture, isn't activism. It's bullying, and it's cowardly, especially when you're punching at someone who refuses to punch back. Because Caitlin Clark doesn't need to. She doesn't get on podcasts to throw shade. She doesn't launch social media attacks. She lets her game speak. And that's what drives her critics crazy. She drops 30, then walks off with the composure of a 10-year vet. She's quiet when others get loud. She takes elbows without flopping for sympathy. And that grace, that poise, that refusal to feed the drama, that's her greatest offense in the eyes of people who thrive on it.
The WNBA is officially having their Jussie Smollett Bubba Wallace hoax situation. Right here, right now. You're watching it. And there's other things going on like this being shared by Angel Reese. WNBA's turning a blind eye to it.
And the league's refusal to call it out? That's the real scandal. Because this isn't just about what Angel Reese posted, it's about the message the WNBA sends by doing nothing. A message that says standards only apply to some, that certain voices get punished while others get amplified. That leadership is conditional on who you are, not what you do. And when a league that claims to stand for fairness looks the other way in the face of bias, they're not just failing, they're enabling. Let's talk about the only people keeping this league from collapsing like a folding chair at a barbecue: the fans. Specifically, the Indiana Fever fans, who might as well be honorary season ticket shareholders at this point. These are the folks showing up in droves, buying merch like it's Black Friday, traveling city to city, packing arenas, and chanting Caitlin Clark's name like it's gospel. You'd think they'd be treated like royalty, but nope. Instead, they're getting side-eyed, lectured, and scolded by none other than Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. And not about throwing things or storming the court. Nope, they're being warned about tone. That's right, not language, not conduct, but tone. Because nothing screams fan engagement like a commissioner telling your most loyal supporters to be less enthusiastic.
Do they not realize, look, if you want to be taken as a, number one, if you want to keep all these new fans around, and you want to be treated like a real sports league, you've got to start taking things like this seriously and quit worrying about going after somebody because they made a crack about Brittany Griner being arrested in Russia. Sports fans are going to go after Brittany Griner over that. They're going to heckle her over that. I heard that yesterday and was like, are you kidding me? Fact, Brittany Griner got arrested in Russia for cannabis oil, which is illegal in Russia. You expect sports fans to not literally heckle her with that during the game? Have you ever been to a Raiders game, an Eagles game? You got to be kidding me.
And the kicker? This lecture happened during an ongoing investigation sparked by what now looks like a completely baseless accusation of racism. A few boos and eye rolls got blown up into a full-blown inquisition. Meanwhile, Angel Reese can casually repost racially divisive TikToks and not even get a sternly worded email. You don't need a marketing degree to see why that's a disaster. You don't need PR training to understand how insulting that is to the people who are literally funding this league with their wallets and eyeballs. All you need is basic common sense. Keep this up, and you'll start seeing empty rows, even at Caitlin Clark games. That's how quickly trust erodes.
Somebody, NBA Centel, which is a parody site, a satire site, shared a fake post about the WNBA banning booing. All right? At first glance, I saw it and was like, well, I can't believe it took them this long. And then I saw who posted it and was like, okay, good. But that just tells you it got a lot of people. That post, a lot of people thought it was real. Because at this point, We're expecting the WNBA to literally do something absurd like ban booing in a sports league.
Now, let's talk absurdity, because sometimes the most brutal truths come wrapped in comedy. A satirical sports page recently posted a fake headline that read, "WNBA to ban booing." Pure parody, obviously. A joke. But here's the thing, thousands of people believed it. And not because they're gullible, because it sounded exactly like something the WNBA would actually do. That's where we're at. When your league's operations are so detached from reality that satire feels like journalism, you've got a branding problem. The line between funny and realistic is so blurred that fans can't tell if they're watching a basketball game or a bad SNL sketch. And when fans start laughing at you instead of with you, you're no longer a sports league. You're a punchline in a badly written comedy special. And jokes don't sell tickets.
Adam Silver, where are you? And we're turning into Scooby-Doo with you. Where are you exactly? Because it seems to me like the NBA and Adam Silver should get involved here. And be like, you do realize we've got Michael Jordan in the house right now?
This brings us to the part nobody in the WNBA front office seems to want to talk about. Business. Because while the league may operate like a social media echo chamber, sponsors don't. Corporate partners don't hand out checks to leagues embroiled in controversy every other week. Broadcasters won't keep cutting big TV deals if every game comes with a side of PR whiplash. And merchandisers? They're not interested in putting their logos next to a league that can't even enforce its own conduct rules evenly. Every time the WNBA chooses silence over accountability, they send one clear message to the money: you can't trust us. And if enough sponsors believe that, say goodbye to growth, because no viral TikTok can patch a sinking ship. Which brings us to the big dog in the room, Adam Silver. Remember him? Commissioner of the NBA. The WNBA technically falls under his umbrella. These teams share branding, ownership, and arenas. So when the Women's League spins into chaos, it's not just a WNBA issue, it becomes a basketball issue, a brand issue, a Silver legacy issue. If he doesn't step in now, when? After another PR meltdown? When half the fan base bails? When sponsors start ghosting? The time to act was yesterday. The next best time is right now.
She brought all those fans in. What are you doing? Question mark. If you mess this up for these NBA owners that own these teams, and you mess this up with the media rights deal and all this other stuff, and our advertise, if you mess this up, Engelbert, you're out. You're fired.
Because Caitlin Clark didn't just bring her jump shot to the league. She brought millions of new fans, most of whom had never watched a women's game in their lives. Now those same fans are watching the league spiral like it's allergic to common sense. They're seeing their favorite player get fouled, mocked, racially targeted, and gaslit, while the league shrugs and hands out warnings to the audience. If that's the product you're selling, don't be surprised when people stop buying. So, WNBA, let's make this plain. You can't keep playing both sides. You can't say zero tolerance for hate and then hand out tolerance cards like party favors when one of your stars crosses the line. You don't get to wag your finger at fans while letting players run wild with no consequences. You don't get to call yourself a league of values while ghosting every time those values are tested. You're either a serious professional league or an activist club with sneakers. What's it going to be? If you support Caitlin, comment, "I stand with CC" down below to show your support. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.